Hello and welcome. Come in, settle down, and let the day fall away from your shoulders. However far you travelled to get here, however loud the hours behind you were, you can let all of it soften now. There is nothing left to finish tonight, nothing to solve. You have arrived at the quiet part of the day, the part that belongs only to you, and I am glad you are here. Before we begin, and only if you feel like it, I would love to know where you are listening from tonight. Somewhere near the sea, somewhere in the mountains, somewhere in a small room in a big city with the window cracked open just a little. Leave a gentle word in the comments and tell me where in the world you are, so that all of us drifting off together tonight can imagine the many quiet places we are resting in, scattered across the same sleeping planet. And if this calm voice helps you fall asleep, you might leave a soft like before your eyes get too heavy to bother. It helps more of these long, slow stories find the people who need them. Now, let yourself get comfortable. Pull the blanket up over your shoulder the way you like it, and let it hold a little of your warmth. Find the cool side of the pillow if you want it. Let your arms grow heavy. Let your legs grow heavy. Unclench your jaw and let your shoulders drop away from your ears, lower than you thought they could go. Take one slow breath in through your nose and let it out even slower, like a tide going out. And another. There is no hurry here. There will not be any sudden sounds, no bright turns, nothing that asks anything of you. Just my voice, and a long, gentle wander through a small green valley where the days are soft and the nights are kind. You can close your eyes whenever you are ready. You do not have to stay awake to the end. Falling asleep before we finish is not missing anything. It is the whole point. So let us go there together, slowly, to a place called Stardew Valley. Imagine for a moment that you are tired in the way that has nothing to do with sleep. Imagine a life spent under humming fluorescent lights, in a grey building owned by a company called Joja, where the days blur into one another and the window, if there is a window, looks out onto a parking lot. This is where the story quietly begins. Not with a hero, not with a sword, but with someone worn thin by ordinary life, sitting at a desk, opening a drawer, and finding an envelope that has been waiting there for a very long time. The envelope was left by a grandfather, years before, back when he could feel his own days growing short. He had written a letter and sealed it, and asked that it not be opened until life had become too much to bear, until the weight of the modern world pressed down so heavily that a change felt like the only way through. And now, at last, that day has come. Inside the letter is a deed to a piece of land in the valley, an old farm overgrown and forgotten, tucked beside a small town near the sea. The grandfather's gentle wish was simple. When you are ready, he wrote, leave it all behind and come here and make something grow. And so you go. You leave the grey building and the parking lot and the long grey road, and you take a bus out of the city, further and further from everything loud, until the concrete gives way to trees, and the trees give way to fields, and the fields open into a valley cradled by low green hills. The farm, when you first see it, is not a gift so much as a promise. It is buried under weeds and stones and fallen branches, the fences broken, the soil untended for years. But there is a small cabin with a bed inside, and a patch of earth waiting to be cleared, and a handful of parsnip seeds pressed into your hand by a kindly local named Robin, who builds things, and who will become one of the first friendly faces in a town full of them. This is the beginning of nearly every journey in Stardew Valley, and what makes it so quietly powerful is how little it asks of you at the start. There is no great battle waiting, no countdown, no looming threat. There is only a small square of soil, a hoe, a watering can, and time. You clear a little space. You till the earth. You drop the seeds into the ground and cover them over, and you carry water from the pond to keep them alive, and then you wait. That is all. The game does not rush you. The valley moves at the speed of growing things, and it invites you so gently to slow down and move at that speed too. Time in the valley flows in a shape that is easy to sink into. There are 4 seasons, and each one lasts 28 days, so a full year turns in 112 days, and then it begins again, spring after winter, without end. There is no true finish line, no final score. The seasons simply cycle, the way real seasons do, and the farm ages and deepens with each turn of the wheel. Spring is the beginning, all thawing earth and pale green shoots. Summer is bright and long and full of heat. Autumn arrives in amber and rust, the harvest season, the busiest and most golden of them all. And then winter comes, and the ground goes quiet and white, and almost nothing will grow outside, and the valley seems to hold its breath and rest, the way you are resting now. Each season brings its own quiet crops, and there is a real tenderness in learning them, in coming to know what the earth is willing to give and when. In spring the soil offers parsnips and potatoes, green beans climbing their poles, cauliflower swelling pale and heavy, and if you are patient, strawberries that fruit again and again. There is rhubarb and delicate blue jazz flowers, and tulips that open in soft rows. In summer come the melons and the blueberries, the hot peppers and the tomatoes, the tall corn that carries on into fall, and the golden hops and wheat. There are poppies red as embers, and sunflowers turning their faces to follow the light. And there, rare and precious, the starfruit, a crop that shimmers pale gold and is worth a small fortune to anyone with the patience to grow it. Autumn is perhaps the most beloved season of all, and it is easy to understand why. The valley turns to fire and gold, and the harvests come thick and generous. Pumpkins swell orange in the fields, ready for the fair. Cranberries cluster on their bushes, giving again and again with each visit. There are yams and beets and eggplants, bok choy and artichokes, amaranth standing tall and dark, and grapes heavy on the vine. And hidden among the rare seeds is something almost magical, the sweet gem berry, a fruit so valuable and strange that growing one feels like a secret you are keeping from the world. Fall is the season of gathering in, of storing away, of preparing quietly for the cold that everyone knows is coming. And then winter settles over the valley, and the fields go still. The ground freezes, and the ordinary crops will not take root in the frozen earth, and for the first time all year, the farm asks nothing of you outdoors. This might sound like a sad season, an empty one, but it is not. Winter in the valley is a time for other things. It is a time for going down into the mines, for fishing through the cold, for spending long hours in the town with the people who live there, for tending to the animals in their warm barns, and for dreaming about the spring to come. And for those who plan ahead, there is the greenhouse, a small glass sanctuary where summer never ends, where crops grow through the snow, green and impossible against the white world outside. There is a rhythm to all of this that works its way into you, slowly the longer you stay. You wake with the sun, you water your plants while the dew is still on them. You wander into town to see who is about, and you come home as the light goes gold and then blue, and you sleep and you wake and you do it again. It is the same, and yet it is never quite the same, because the valley is always turning, and there is always something small and new waiting to be noticed. A crop you have never grown, a fish you have never caught, a quiet stranger you have not yet spoken to, and over the seasons, without ever quite meaning to, you build a life. The town at the heart of it all is called Pelican Town, and it sits just south of the farm, a small cluster of buildings gathered around a cobbled square, with a river running through it, and the sea waiting at its southern edge. It is the kind of town where everyone knows everyone, where the same faces pass you each day, where the general store and the saloon and the clinic and the little houses all sit close enough to walk between in a few gentle minutes. When you first arrive, the town can feel like a place of strangers. But that is only the beginning. Every person in Pelican Town has a life, a history, a small private ache, a hope they keep tucked away. And the longer you stay, the more of those quiet lives open up to you, slowly, the way trust always does. There is a story woven into the town itself, and you feel it before you understand it. Pelican Town has seen better days. Once, it was livelier, fuller, more sure of itself. But a great grey company called Joja came and built its warehouse store at the edge of town, and slowly the old ways began to fade. The little general store struggles against the discount aisles of Joja Mart. The community centre, once the beating heart of the town where everyone gathered, now stands abandoned and dark, its windows dusty, its floorboards buckling, weeds growing up through the cracks. The town remembers what it used to be, and it grieves quietly, the way places do. But the community centre is not as empty as it seems. When you first step inside into the gloom and the dust, you catch a glimpse of something moving in the shadows. Small shapes, quick and shy, ducking out of sight. These are the Junimos, and they are among the gentlest secrets the valley holds. They are little spirits, round and soft and coloured like jelly beans, forest creatures that live close to nature and cannot bear the presence of anything cold or industrial. They came to the community centre because they sensed it needed help, and they are willing to help you restore it in their own quiet way if you will bring them offerings from the land. The way you speak with them is through a strange and beautiful magic. A wizard who lives in a tower in the forest gives you the ability to read their language, and once you can, the community centre reveals its true nature. The dusty rooms hold golden scrolls, and each scroll asks for a small collection of things gathered from the valley. A bundle of spring crops, a handful of river fish, some ore from deep in the mines, a gift of the forest, foraged from beneath the trees. These are called bundles, and completing them is one of the softest, most satisfying rhythms in the whole game. You are not conquering anything. You are simply bringing the land's gifts back to a place that has forgotten how to receive them, and with each bundle you complete, the Junimos work their quiet magic, and something in the valley is healed, and the things that are healed are real and lasting. Restore one bundle, and a broken bridge on the beach is mended, opening a whole stretch of tide pools to explore. Restore another, and an old minecart system rumbles back to life, letting you travel across the valley in an instant. Complete the greenhouse bundle, and that glass sanctuary on your farm is rebuilt, gifting you a place where crops grow in any season. And when the very last bundle is finished, the whole town gathers, and the Junimos give the valley one final blessing, and there is a festival of gratitude, and you understand that you did not just fix some buildings. You brought a dying town back to life, one small gift at a time. But there is another path, and the game is quietly honest about it. If you do not want to gather bundles, you can instead buy a membership to Joja. You can pay the company, and the company will fix the same bridges and rebuild the same structures quickly and efficiently for a price. It is faster, it is easier, and it is hollow. Take that path, and the community centre is not restored but bulldozed, replaced with a Joja warehouse, all grey walls and buzzing lights. The Junimos leave, the magic goes quiet, nothing is technically lost, and yet everything is. The game never scolds you for choosing this, it simply lets you see, gently, the difference between healing something and merely paying to make a problem disappear. It is one of the quietest moral lessons in any game, and it never once raises its voice. The people of the town are where the real warmth lives, and there are so many of them to come to know. Some of them, over long seasons of small kindnesses, might even become the person you build a life beside. There are young people in the valley, each carrying their own weather, each waiting to be truly seen. And the way you come to know them is slow and human. You talk to them, day after day. You learn what they love, and you bring them small gifts, a favourite flower, a stone they have been searching for, a dish they adore. And slowly, heart by heart, the walls come down, and they begin to share the deeper parts of themselves with you. There is Abigail, with her purple hair and her restless spirit, who plays the flute and explores the graveyard at night and dreams of adventure in a town that feels too small for her. Her parents run the general store, and there is a gentle sadness in her, a sense of being not quite understood, of wanting something wilder than the life laid out for her. She practices with a sword. She eats amethyst, quietly, when she thinks no one is watching. She is looking for someone who will not try to make her smaller. There is Sebastian, who lives in the basement of his mother's house, a programmer who works alone in the dark and feels like an outsider even in his own family. He rides a motorcycle, keeps a pet frog, and slips away to the lake to smoke and think and be alone with the quiet. He feels overlooked, especially beside his bright and beloved half-sister, and beneath his cool distance there is a lonely person longing to be chosen, to matter to someone, to find a person who prefers the rain and the shadows the way he does. There is Sam, all easy energy and skateboard tricks, and a garage band he is trying to hold together. a young man whose father has been away at war for years. Sam takes care of his little brother, plays his guitar, jokes to keep the mood light, and carries more weight beneath the cheerfulness than he lets on. There is Penny, gentle and shy, who teaches the town's 2 children their lessons in the old library and lives with her mother in a small trailer, dreaming quietly of a kinder, steadier life and a home of her own. There is Leah, an artist who left the city and a life that did not fit, who lives in a little cottage in the woods and carves sculptures from driftwood and forages her meals from the forest, trying to trust that following her art was not a mistake. There is Hayley, who seems at first to care only for her looks and her photographs and the shallow, bright surface of things, and who can be cool and dismissive when you are new and unimportant to her. But spend enough seasons near her, and something softens. You learn that behind the polished surface is a young woman slowly discovering what she actually values, learning to see past appearances, becoming kinder than she first appeared. She is one of the game's gentlest lessons about not judging a person by the face they show the world on a difficult day. There is Maru, curious and brilliant, who tinkers with machines and studies the stars, the daughter of the local carpenter and a scientist father, torn quietly between the 2 worlds of her parents. There is Emily, who sees auras and dreams true dreams and speaks of crystals and spirits with a serene certainty, a tailor and a free spirit who feels the currents beneath ordinary life. There is Alex, who dreams of glory on the field, all confidence on the surface, but who lost his mother young and lives with the grandparents who raised him, and who is, underneath the bravado, a boy still grieving and still afraid he is not enough on his own. There is Elliot, a writer who lives alone in a small cabin right on the beach, working on a novel he is not sure anyone will ever read, living close to the sound of the waves because he believes the sea will teach him how to say what he means. There is Harvey, the town doctor, older and quieter than the rest, a gentle and anxious man who worries over everyone's health and his own loneliness, who runs the little clinic and keeps a radio and dreams secretly of the open sky. And there is Shane, perhaps the most quietly heavy of them all, a man who works a dead-end job stocking shelves at Joja Mart, who drinks too much at the saloon, who is struggling with a depression the game does not flinch from showing. His story, if you walk it with him patiently, is one of the most honest and moving in the whole valley, a slow and careful climb back toward wanting to be alive. The game handles his darkness with real tenderness, never making it a spectacle, only ever a truth, and the possibility of light on the other side of it. To come to know any of these people takes time and small, steady care, and marrying one of them, if that is the path you choose, takes even more. You must reach the deepest level of a bond, and then there is an old and gentle custom to observe. On rainy days, an old sailor stands on the beach beside the pier, and if you find him there, he will sell you a mermaid's pendant, a token of the sea and of lasting love. Offer that pendant to the one whose heart you have won, and they will accept, and there will be a wedding in the town square with all the neighbours gathered around, and afterward the 2 of you will share the farmhouse, and your quiet life will have someone in it who greets you each morning and misses you when you are gone. And beyond the young hearts you might one day marry, the valley is full of other lives, each one drawn with the same patient care. There are elders whose stories reach far back, whose small daily routines hold whole histories inside them. George sits in his wheelchair by the window, gruff and weary and often unkind, worn down by pain and by the slow loss of the body he used to trust. And his wife Evelyn, whom everyone calls Granny, tends her flowers and bakes cookies and holds the two of them together with a soft and unbreakable devotion. They are Alex's grandparents, the ones who took him in, and watching the tenderness between them, the way Evelyn cares for George even on his hardest days, is one of the quiet aches of the town. There is Jodie, keeping her household together while her husband Kent is away at war, raising Sam and little Vincent alone, setting the table each night with a hope she tries not to speak aloud. And when Kent finally comes home, sometime in the second year, the reunion is not simple or easy. He is changed by what he has seen. He flinches at loud sounds. He struggles to settle back into a peaceful life that no longer quite fits him. The game does not wave this away. It lets him carry it, gently, the weight a person brings back from a war, and it lets his family love him through it. There is Pam, who drives the bus and drinks to forget her disappointments, and her daughter Penny, and the small trailer they share, and the quiet dream that one day it might become a real house, a dream that can, with your help, come true. There is Marnie, who runs the ranch just south of your farm and sells you your animals, warm and a little scattered and full of easy kindness. And there is Lewis, the mayor of the town, dutiful and proper and endlessly concerned with appearances. What the town does not openly say, but what the valley quietly reveals to those who look, is that Marnie and Lewis have been seeing each other in secret for a long time. The mayor is too worried about what people would think to let it be known, and so their love stays hidden, tucked away in the ranch in stolen visits, in a purple garment of the mayor's that you might one day find in Marnie's room, a small and slightly funny and slightly sad piece of evidence of a love kept in the shadows. If you like, you can leave it be, or you can, mischievously, place it where the whole town might see it. The valley lets you decide. And then there is Linus, who lives in a tent by the mountain lake, apart from everyone, foraging his food and asking for nothing. Some in town look down on him, whisper about him, misunderstand him. But Linus is not lost or broken. He has chosen this life, close to the earth, free of the things that weighed him down, and if you take the time to know him, you find a person of deep peace and quiet wisdom. Someone who has made a kind of freedom out of what others call poverty. He is one of the valley's gentlest teachers, a reminder that a good life does not always look the way the world expects it to, and that kindness costs nothing and means everything. There are the two children of the town, Jas and Vincent, small and curious, playing by the river and learning their letters from Penny in the old library. There is Willie, the fisherman, weathered and calm, who keeps his shop at the end of the pier and speaks of the sea like an old friend. There is Gus, who runs the saloon, feeding the town and pouring its drinks, and keeping the warm lamplit heart of the place glowing each evening. There is Pierre, who owns the general store and frets over his business and his family. There is Clint, the blacksmith, shy and lonely, who upgrades your tools and breaks open the geodes you bring him, and who carries a quiet, unspoken affection for Emily that he cannot find the courage to name. There is Gunther, who tends the museum, waiting patiently for you to bring him the artifacts and minerals buried throughout the valley, so that the town's forgotten history can be gathered under one roof again. Beyond the town and the farm, the valley holds deeper and stranger places, and one of the deepest lies to the north, in the mountains, where an old mine burrows down into the dark. When you first find it, the entrance is blocked by a landslide, but it clears in time, and then the way is open, and you can descend. The mines go down and down, level after level, 120 floors in all, and the further you go, the colder and older the stone becomes. The early floors are brown earth and copper, then deeper come blue ice and the frozen levels, and deeper still the glowing red of the lava floors, where the heat rises and the ore burns bright. There is a lift that remembers the deepest floor you have reached in fives, so you never have to climb the whole way down again. A small mercy for tired legs. Down in the dark there are things that do not want you there. Slimes bounce and split, bats wheel through the black. Old skeletons rattle and grubs burrow, and shadowy shapes drift at the edges of your lantern light. But there is treasure too, veins of ore threaded through the rock, copper and iron and gold, and sparkling gems, and now and then something rare enough to make your heart lift. The mines are where you find the metal to upgrade your tools and build your dreams, and there is a meditative quality to the descent, the swing of the pickaxe, the crack of stone, the slow gathering of what the earth has kept hidden for so long. There is someone living down there, deep in the mines, that most people never meet. A dwarf small and ancient, the last of a people who once lived beneath the mountains. When you first find the dwarf, you cannot understand a word, for the dwarves speak a language lost to time. But scattered through the geodes you crack open with Clint are 4 old volumes, a translation guide, and once you have gathered them all and learnt to read the dwarvish tongue, the dwarf will speak with you and trade with you and share small pieces of a history far older than the town above. The dwarves and the shadow people, you learn, were once at war, long ago, a conflict that shaped the hidden world beneath the valley in ways the surface has forgotten. Further east, past the mines, stands a small building where 2 seasoned adventurers keep watch. Marlon and Gil run the Adventurers Guild, a place for those who go down into the dark and come back changed. Marlon is stern and scarred and knows the mines better than anyone alive. Gil dozes in his chair by the fire, an old warrior at rest. They will sell you swords and boots and rings, and they will reward you for thinning out the monsters below. And they keep the memory of a more dangerous valley, back when the depths were wilder and the town needed protecting. They are a reminder that beneath the cosy surface of this gentle world, there has always been an edge of real danger, kept at bay by those willing to face it. And the mines are not the deepest a person can go. Far to the west, across the desert, there is another place, older and hungrier, called the Skull Cavern. To reach it you must first cross the whole valley by bus, out to the Calico Desert, a stretch of endless sand where the heat shimmers and the dunes roll on forever. The bus itself must be repaired before it will run, either through the community's efforts or through Joja's coin. And once it does, the desert opens to you, with its little oasis, its travelling merchant, and at its far edge, a black cavern that goes down without end. The Skull Cavern is unlike the mines. It has no bottom that anyone has ever confirmed, No comforting 120 floors, only level after level after level, growing more dangerous the deeper you dare to go. The monsters here are fiercer, the serpents that swarm and bite, the flying skulls, the mummies that rise again unless you burn them. But this is also where the rarest metal in the valley waits, the precious iridium, purple and gleaming, the finest material a farmer can find, the stuff of the very best tools and the most valuable machines. Those who chase perfection and wealth make long, dangerous runs down into the skull cavern, racing the clock, clutching torches and bombs and whatever luck they carry, and the deeper they go, the richer and the more perilous it becomes. It is the valley's quiet reminder that the greatest rewards are always guarded by the greatest dark. And in the desert, among the endless sand, there is a legend. 3 ancient pillars standing alone. If you should ever find something rare and beautiful enough, a prismatic shard, a stone that shimmers with every colour at once, the rarest thing in all the valley, you can carry it to those 3 pillars and place it among them, and the sky will answer. A sword will fall from above, the galaxy sword, glowing and cold and powerful beyond any ordinary blade, a weapon that feels almost holy, given by forces the game never fully explains. It is one of those small mysteries the valley holds close, a moment of the mythic breaking through the ordinary, asking you to simply accept the wonder without demanding an answer. There is another kind of quiet down by the water, and it is one of the most beloved rhythms in all the valley. Fishing. When you first take up the rod, it feels awkward, the fish darting and fighting against the line, slipping away again and again. But in time it becomes a meditation. You stand at the edge of the river or the lake or the sea, and you cast, and you wait, and you watch the water, and when the line pulls you match the fish's motion, holding it gently in balance until it tires and comes to you. There is a whole hidden world of fish beneath the surface of the valley, and each one keeps to its own place, and its own season, and its own weather, so that catching them all becomes a slow and lifelong study of the water and its moods. Some fish are common and easy, the little sunfish and the herring and the anchovy. Others are shy, appearing only in certain seasons, or only in the rain, or only in the deep of night, and a rare few are legendary, spoken of in hushed tones, fish so large and old and cunning that they are almost myths themselves. There is a great fish said to haunt the mountain lake, another that lurks in the ocean, another in the river, each one appearing only under the most particular conditions, each one a fierce and difficult catch that might take a farmer years to finally land. To catch a legendary fish is to hold a piece of the valley's mythology in your hands, and many who play carry the memory of that struggle for a long time after. And you do not only catch fish to sell or eat, you can keep them. Along the edges of the farm you can build ponds, small still circles of water, and place a fish inside, and watch it multiply slowly over the seasons. A little living population, all your own. The fish in the ponds behave in gentle, curious ways, forming their own quiet colonies, offering up roe and now and then a small gift, so that even the water on your farm becomes something living and tended, another soft rhythm folded into the whole. There is a slow mastery woven through everything you do in the valley, a quiet deepening of skill that comes simply from the doing. A farmer grows more capable at the growing of things, more attuned to the mines, more graceful at the water's edge, steadier in the face of the creatures in the dark, more knowing in the ways of the forest and its wild gifts. There are 5 such paths of mastery, and none of them are rushed. You do not study them or train at them. You simply live and work, and the skill accrues on its own, the way real skill always does, quietly, through repetition, through the patient accumulation of ordinary days. And as you grow, the valley opens small new gifts to you, better ways of doing the things you already love, so that the 10th season feels richer and easier than the first, not because the work changed, but because you did. Your tools deepen in the same slow way. The plain starting hoe and axe and pickaxe and watering can, humble and a little worn, can be carried to the blacksmith and reforged, again and again into copper, and then steel, and then gold, and at the very last into gleaming iridium, each upgrade letting you tend more of the land with each swing, water more of the field with each pour. It takes ore, and it takes coin, and it takes a day or 2 of patience while Clint works, but slowly your simple tools become fine ones, and the work that once wore you out becomes light and easy, and the farm that once felt too large to manage becomes something you can care for with a calm and practiced hand. Every day in the valley has its own gentle limit, and learning to live within it is part of the peace of the place. There is only so much a body can do before it grows tired, only so many crops to water and stones to break and fish to catch before the light fades and the weariness sets in. And when the day is spent, you go home and you sleep, and the tiredness lifts, and a new day begins fresh. There is a wisdom hidden in that simple rhythm, a quiet insistence that you are allowed to reach the end of your strength, allowed to stop, allowed to rest and be restored. The valley never asks you to work past your own exhaustion. It simply sends you home to bed, gently, when the day is done. Willie, the old fisherman, watches all of this with a knowing calm. He has spent his life on the water, and his little shop at the end of the pier smells of salt and rope and old wood. In time, if you help him, he will reveal a secret. Behind his shop, hidden away, is an old boat, broken down and long unused, that once carried people far across the sea to a distant island. And this is where one of the valley's most surprising chapters begins, a place beyond the valley entirely, out past the horizon. But before we sail there is magic to speak of, older and stranger than anything on the farm. In the depths of Cindersap Forest, south and west of the town, there stands a lonely tower, and inside it lives a wizard. His name is Rasmodius, and he is a practitioner of real magic, a man who reads the stars and the ley lines and the hidden currents of the world. It was he who first gave you the power to speak with the Junimos, and he watches over the valley's stranger forces with a weary ancient patience. He can teach you to brew your own small magics, and to see things ordinary eyes cannot, if you are willing to gather what his craft requires. The wizard carries his own quiet sorrow. Long ago he was married to a witch, a powerful and dangerous sorceress, and their union ended badly. She left, and now she haunts the far corners of the valley, in a swamp that can only be reached through dark and secret means, and she works her own unsettling magic there, souring milk and casting curses and leaving her mark on the world. The wizard speaks of her rarely, and always with a complicated ache, the love and the anger and the loss all tangled together, the way such things always are. Their broken story is one of the oldest shadows in the valley, hinted at but never fully told, left for you to feel rather than to understand. And there is another secret figure, perhaps the gentlest strange soul in all the valley, hidden away beneath the town. In the sewers, in the dark beneath the streets, there lives a shadow person named Krobus. He is small and quiet and kind, one of the last of his people. A creature of the void who has chosen a peaceful life apart from the world above. He runs a little shop down in the dark, selling rare and curious things, and he asks only to be left in peace and treated with a little dignity. And if you show him kindness over many seasons, something remarkable can happen. Krobus, who cannot marry, can nonetheless come to live with you, as a companion and a roommate, sharing your home and your quiet life. A shadow creature and a farmer keeping each other company in a warm farmhouse at the edge of the world. It is one of the tenderest possibilities the valley offers, a friendship that crosses every line that was supposed to divide. Krobus carries the memory of his people, the shadow people, the creatures of the void who were once at war with the dwarves below. He speaks sometimes of a shadow king, and of a darker history beneath the peaceful surface of the valley, of conflicts and losses that shaped the hidden world long before the town above ever existed. He fears the wizard a little, and will not be in the same place as him. He mourns what his people have become, and yet he has chosen gentleness, chosen peace, chosen to sell his little wares and live quietly rather than carry the old hatreds forward. In his own soft way, he is one of the valley's deepest lessons about laying down the weight of the past. There is a figure stranger still, and more powerful, who moves through the valley like a rumour. His name, or the name he goes by, is Mr. Chi, and no one quite knows what he is. He appears in unexpected places, leaving cryptic notes, setting strange and difficult challenges, offering rewards beyond anything an ordinary life could provide. Behind the desert oasis, hidden away, there is a casino that he owns, a glittering secret room full of games of chance, reach through a door that only opens once you have earned his attention. Mr. Chi deals in a special currency all his own, and he tests those who catch his interest, pushing them toward feats of skill and daring and patience, and rewarding the worthy with wonders. He is the valley's trickster, its mystery, its quiet god of challenge and reward, and the game never once explains where he came from or what he truly wants. And it is Mr. Chi, in a way, who waits at the end of Willie's boat. When you help the old fisherman restore that broken vessel behind his shop, it will carry you out across the sea, far from the valley, to a warm and distant place called Ginger Island. The island is nothing like the valley. It is tropical and green, ringed by white beaches and turquoise water, with palm trees swaying and parrots calling and a warm wind that never seems to stop. After so many seasons of the valley's gentle cold and changing weather, arriving on the island feels like stepping into a dream of somewhere far away, somewhere you might go to rest. The island holds its own quiet mysteries. There is a boy there, named Leo, who was lost young and raised by the birds. wild and wordless at first, more at home among the parrots than among people. Over time, if you are patient and kind, Leo learns to trust again, learns to speak, and may even choose to come and live in the valley, slowly rejoining the human world he was once separated from. It is one of the game's most tender stories, a child returning gently from the wild, learning that he is not alone. On the island there is a volcano, and inside it another dungeon to descend, hotter and more dangerous than anything in the valley's mines, glowing with lava and guarded by strange new creatures. There is a scholar there too, an old snail of a professor studying the island's ancient past, cataloguing the bones and relics of creatures that lived and died here long ago. And scattered across the whole island, hidden in the sand and the trees and the caves, are golden walnuts, small treasures that unlock the island's deeper secrets, including a hidden room where Mr. Chi himself waits with his hardest and most rewarding challenges of all. The island is the valley's far frontier, the place you reach only after long seasons of work, a reward for patience shaped like paradise. There are quieter mysteries too, woven all through the valley, small strange threads that the game leaves dangling on purpose, never quite tied off, so that the players who love it can wonder and theorize for years. Scattered across the land, buried in the ground or tucked into forgotten corners, there are secret notes, little handwritten pages that reveal small private truths about the townsfolk and the world. A note that hints at a hidden feeling, a note that points toward buried treasure, a note that suggests something about a person that they would never say aloud. Gathering them feels like eavesdropping gently on the soul of the town. One of those secrets sits at the very heart of a family in the town, and the game never confirms it, only whispers. Abigail with her purple hair, so different from either of her parents, so restless and strange in a household of shopkeepers. There are notes and there are lines of dialogue that seem to suggest her mother once had a connection to the wizard in the forest, that Abigail's true father might not be the man who raised her at all. The game never says so plainly. It only leaves the pieces lying about, the purple hair, the quiet visits, the wizard's odd interest, and lets you draw the line yourself. Or not. It is one of the most enduring, gentle mysteries the valley holds, a thing that can be read one way or another, never settled, always shimmering just out of reach. There is a mystery in the sea as well. In the deep of winter, for just a few nights, the town holds a night market down by the docks, and there, among the stalls and the lanterns on the water, there is a boat where a mermaid sings. If you have gathered the right secret knowledge, if you have found the hidden notes and learned the sequence, you can play along with her song, and she will reward you with a pearl, one of the rarest and most precious things in the valley. The mermaid asks for nothing, explains nothing. She simply sings, out there on the dark winter water, and vanishes when the market ends, another of the small wonders the valley offers to those who look closely enough. And there is weather, sometimes, that is stranger than rain. Every so often in the height of summer, the sky turns a deep and eerie green, and a strange rain falls, and the whole world takes on an unfamiliar cast. The plants grow wild and unusual, odd fibres and mosses spreading across the ground, and the townsfolk speak of it with unease and wonder. an old phenomenon that the valley remembers from long ago. It is called the green rain, and it arrives without warning, transforming the familiar world for a day into something dreamlike and slightly haunted, a reminder that even this gentle place keeps a little of the uncanny in its bones. Watching over all of it, in his own quiet way, is the memory of your grandfather, the one who left you the farm. His spirit lingers at a small shrine tucked into a corner of the land, and after you have farmed for 3 full years, he returns, just once, to see what you have made of his gift. He looks over the life you have built, the crops and the animals and the friendships and the small kindnesses, and he offers his gentle judgment, lighting candles to mark how well you have honoured the dream he handed down. It is never harsh, never cruel. It is a grandfather's love, reaching across death to say, in the end, that he is proud, or that there is still more life waiting to be lived. And for those who tend the valley with real devotion over many long years, there is a final blessing at that shrine, a recognition of a life made whole, a quiet perfection that asks for everything and gives back a deep and settled peace. Back on the farm, beyond the crops, there is another kind of life to tend, one that fills the quiet with soft sounds. Once you have built a coop, you can keep chickens and gather their eggs each morning, and in time keep ducks and rabbits too, and even, if fortune smiles, hatch a dinosaur from an ancient egg found deep in the earth, a small living echo of a world long gone. Build a barn, and you can raise cows for milk and goats and sheep for wool, and pigs who root in the ground for the precious truffles hidden there. The animals come to know you. If you pet them each day and let them out into the sun to graze on the grass, they grow content. And content animals give the finest gifts, the richest milk and the largest eggs and the softest wool. There is a deep and simple pleasure in this, in the morning round of the farm, going from creature to creature, a hand on each warm head, the soft clucking and lowing and bleating filling the air, the smell of hay and earth and green things growing. It is the oldest rhythm there is, the tending of animals and land, and the valley lets you sink into it fully, without hurry, until it becomes a kind of moving meditation, the same gentle chores each day, each one small and kind and complete in itself. And around the edges of all this tending, there is foraging, the gathering of what grows wild. Each season leaves its own small treasures scattered through the valley, spring onions and wild horseradish and daffodils in the thaw, berries ripening on the summer bushes, hazelnuts and mushrooms and blackberries in the fall, crocuses and crystal fruit pushing up through the winter snow. To forage is to walk the valley slowly and notice it, to know which corners hold which gifts in which season, to move through the world with your eyes open and your hands ready to receive. And now and then, in the forest, you might come upon a travelling merchant, a mysterious woman with a covered cart pulled by a tired old pig, who appears only on certain days and sells a rotating handful of rare and random things, another small surprise the valley tucks away for the curious. The year in the valley is marked not only by the turning of the seasons, but by its festivals, the days when the whole town gathers and the ordinary rhythm gives way to something shared. They are among the warmest moments in the game, these gatherings, when every face you have come to know is there together in one place, and the town remembers that it is a community, and not just a collection of separate lives. In the spring there is the Egg Festival, when the square fills with pastel decorations and the children hunt for eggs among the flowers. And later in spring comes the Flower Dance, a gentle and slightly nerve-wracking affair where you might ask someone you care for to be your partner, and the two of you dance together in the meadow among the blossoms while the whole town watches, a small and tender ritual of the heart. In the heat of summer there is the luau, when everyone brings something to add to a great communal soup, and the governor himself comes to taste it, and the quality of the whole town's shared meal depends on what each person chose to contribute. A quiet little parable about community folded into a party. Also in summer, on the last night, there is the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies, perhaps the most beautiful festival of all. The whole town walks down to the dark beach at night, and they wait together in the quiet, and then out across the black water they come, hundreds of glowing jellyfish drifting on the tide, luminous and silent, filling the sea with soft blue light. Everyone stands and watches together, saying almost nothing, as the jellies drift past and out to sea, and there is a stillness to it, a shared wonder that lingers long after. It is the valley at its most quietly magical, an entire town holding its breath together before the beauty of the natural world. In the fall comes the Stardew Valley Fair, the busiest and most colourful festival, with games and stalls and a grange display where you show off the finest things your farm has produced. Competing gently for a ribbon and the pride of a good harvest. And near the end of fall comes Spirit's Eve, the valley's night of gentle spookiness, when a great haunted maze is raised in the square and the veil between the living and the dead is said to grow thin, and there is a pleasant shiver of the uncanny in the crisp autumn air. Winter has its festivals too, softer and warmer against the cold. There is the Festival of Ice, out on the frozen lake, with its cheerful little fishing contest and the snow all around. There is the night market, those few dark nights of lanterns on the water and the singing mermaid and stalls full of strange wares. And at the very end of the year, on the coldest and quietest days, there is the Feast of the Winter Star, the valley's own tender version of a midwinter holiday. The town gathers for a great feast, and everyone draws a secret name and gives a secret gift, and the square glows with warmth against the dark and the snow, and the whole long year ends not in triumph, but in gathering, in giving, in the simple grace of people who have come to belong to one another. There are smaller delights folded into every corner of the valley, too many to ever fully gather. In the saloon each evening, Gus keeps the lamps lit and the food warm, and there in the corner sit two old arcade cabinets, small games within the game. One is a frantic little shooter set in an old frontier, where a lone gunslinger holds off waves of enemies across a scrolling desert, difficult and strangely addictive. The other is a racing game where a Junimo rides a cart through the dark, leaping over gaps in the track. They are entirely optional, these little diversions, small toys tucked into the world for no reason other than joy. And there is something lovely about a game that pauses its own gentle work to offer you another game inside it, just for fun. There is coffee to be brewed, to quicken your steps through a busy day. There is a horse you can raise and ride once the carpenter builds you a stable, so that you can move across the valley faster with the wind in your hair. There is a dog or a cat who lives with you from the very first day, a small loyal companion who greets you and whom you can pet each morning, a warm little heartbeat in the farmhouse. There is the museum slowly filling with the artifacts and gems you unearth, the whole buried history of the valley gathered piece by piece under one roof, until the empty halls become a treasure house of everything the land had forgotten. There are so many of these quiet threads, and no single life in the valley ever pulls them all. And that is part of the beauty of it. There is always more waiting. There is always a reason to plant one more season. That slowly filling museum holds a deeper story than it first appears, and it is worth lingering on as the night grows soft. Beneath the whole valley, buried in the soil and hidden in the stone, there sleeps an ancient history, older by far than the little town, older than anyone living. As you dig and mine and fish, you turn up its remnants, the bones of long-vanished creatures, the tools and trinkets of peoples who lived here before, strange dolls and rusted relics and fragments of forgotten lives. And you turn up minerals too, gleaming crystals and geodes and gems, quartz and amethyst, and the deep fire of rarer stones, each one a small piece of the earth's slow patient making. When you carry these to the old curator and let him arrange them in their cases, the empty halls of the museum fill, piece by piece, until the whole buried past of the valley stands gathered under one quiet roof, remembered again after so long forgotten. There is a gentle melancholy in that work, in being the one who gathers up the scattered pieces of a history no one else remembers, and gives them a place to be seen. The dinosaur bones that hint at a world unimaginably old, the dwarvish relics that speak of the people beneath the mountains, the strange dolls and idols whose meaning the game never fully explains, left as small mysteries in the glass. To fill the museum is to become, in a quiet way, the keeper of the valley's memory, the one who insists that the past mattered, that the ones who came before are worth remembering, that even in a small forgotten place there is a deep history worth gathering up with care. And here is a thing worth resting on gently, as your breathing slows and the valley grows soft around you. All of this, every crop and every character, every festival and every fish, every line of dialogue from every villager, every note of the music that drifts through the seasons, every pixel of every sunset over the farm, was made by a single person. One man, alone, over 4.5 long years, taught himself to do everything a whole studio usually does. He wrote the code. He drew the art. He composed the music. He wrote the words that every character speaks. He designed the systems and the seasons and the secrets, and when he was not satisfied, he tore it all down and did it again and again and again. His name is Eric Barone, though most who love the valley know him better as Concerned Ape. He began this work as a young man just out of university, unsure of his path, taking a job as an usher at a movie theatre to pay his rent while he poured every other waking hour into a small farming game that he was not even sure anyone would want. He built it and rebuilt it, redrawing the same art dozens of times as his skills slowly grew, learning music and pixel art and programming as he went, driven by a vision he could see clearly even when no one else could. For years it was just him, a dream, and a computer, and a quiet, stubborn faith that it would someday be finished. The game was very nearly called something else. In its early days, before it found its name, it was known as Sprout Valley. and the town and the characters and the systems looked rougher and stranger than the polished world we know now. There were ideas that came and went, features imagined and then set aside, whole pieces of the valley that never made it into the final world, including, once, a small village of goblins, cut simply because it was not fun, and games their maker believed should always be fun. The valley we love is the survivor of 1,000 small decisions, the version that remained after everything that did not work was gently let go. And then, on the 26th of February, in the year 2016, after all those years alone, the game was finished, and it went out into the world, and the world, quietly at first and then all at once, fell in love with it. What one tired young man had made in his solitude became a comfort to millions of people, a place they returned to again and again, a gentle refuge from their own grey buildings and long grey days. It became one of the most beloved games ever made, and its maker, who had feared it might be a failure, watched it grow into something far larger than himself, something that took on a life of its own in the hearts of everyone who played it. He did not walk away when it was done. Over the years that followed, he kept returning to the valley, adding to it, deepening it, giving it away for free to everyone who already owned it. He added the ability to play alongside friends so that farms could be shared and lives could be built together. He added new corners and new characters, new crops and new secrets. The far tropical island across the sea and the strange green rain, and the little raccoon family that lives in a stump, and the mysterious trash creature that helps the town heal its litter, and so many other small wonders. Each update was a gift, offered freely, made by the same careful hands that had made the first version, the valley growing richer and deeper with every passing year. And the valley is still growing, even now. 10 years after it first appeared, in the early spring of the year 2026, its maker marked the anniversary quietly, with a look back across the decade, sharing old forgotten footage from the game's earliest days, and thanking the many millions who had made it part of their lives. By then, the game had sold more than 50 million copies, and had become one of the most beloved and highly rated games in the world. A staggering thing for a project that began as one uncertain young man alone in a small room. And even after all that, its maker was not finished. He spoke of another update still to come, still being made, another gift being slowly and carefully prepared for everyone who loves the valley. That coming chapter promises new tenderness. For the first time in years, 2 more of the town's residents will open their hearts to the possibility of love, the shy blacksmith and the desert shopkeeper, both of whom carry their own quiet loneliness, both of whom might one day share a farmhouse and a life with someone who chose to know them. There is talk, too, of the children of the valley growing a little more real, a little more present, so that the families you build there might feel fuller still. Nothing is rushed. The update will come when it is ready, as everything in the valley always has, made slowly and lovingly by the same patient hands, given freely when the time is right. That is simply the way of this place. It does not hurry, and it does not abandon the people who love it. There is another gift its maker has given the valley, one that you have been resting inside this whole time without perhaps naming it. Music. Every gentle melody that drifts through the seasons, the soft piano of a spring morning, the warm ease of a summer afternoon, the wistful ache of an autumn evening, the still hush of winter snow, all of it composed by the same person who built everything else. The music of the valley is one of the quietest reasons it soothes so many people to sleep. It never demands attention. It simply drifts, like weather, like memory, like the light changing through a window, holding the whole world in a soft and steady calm. There are those who play the game with the sound turned low, simply to drift off to those melodies, the way you are drifting now. And here, as the valley grows soft and far away, it is worth asking, gently, what it is about this small green place that reaches so many people so deeply. Why a game about weeding a field and watering parsnips and talking to your neighbours should have become a comfort to millions. A place people return to in their hardest seasons, a thing they describe, quietly, as having helped them through the worst times of their lives. There is something in it, something the valley understands about the human heart, that most louder things never even try to say. Perhaps it is this. The valley is a place where small things matter, where the slow tending of a single plant is enough, where you are not asked to save the world, only to care for a little piece of it, patiently, day after day, and to watch it slowly become beautiful. It is a world that rewards attention and kindness and time, the very things the real world so often seems to punish. In the valley, if you show up each day and do the small quiet work, things grow. People soften. The town heals. Nothing is wasted. And there is a deep and gentle reassurance in that. A promise that patience is not foolish, that gentleness is not weakness, that a life made of small good things, tended faithfully over many seasons, adds up in the end to something whole. Perhaps it is that the valley lets you begin again, that every player starts the same way, worn down and tired, escaping a life that had become too heavy, arriving at a broken down farm with nothing but a few seeds and a handful of days. And that from that small and humble beginning, something grows, not because you were special or chosen, but simply because you stayed, and cared, and kept planting. There is a hope in that story that reaches people in the tired parts of themselves, the parts that wonder whether it is too late to change, whether a quieter and kinder life is still possible. The valley answers, softly, that it is. That you can always leave the grey building. That there is always a farm waiting, and always a spring coming, and always time to begin again. And perhaps, in the end, it is simply that the valley is a kind place, that the people in it, even the difficult ones, even the sad ones, are drawn with such tenderness and such truth that you come to love them the way you love real neighbours, real friends. That their small struggles, their grief and their loneliness and their quiet hopes, are treated with a gentleness that the world outside so rarely offers. The valley never mocks its people. It never rushes their healing. It lets them be exactly as broken and as beautiful as real people are, and it lets you love them anyway, and be loved back, in a place where there is always enough time, and always another season, and always a way home. So let that be the thought you carry down into sleep. That somewhere, in a small green valley by the sea, the seasons are turning slowly, and the crops are growing in the dark, and the animals are sleeping warm in their barns. The lamplight glows in the windows of the little town. The river runs quietly through the square. The mermaid waits in the winter sea. The Junimos rest in the forest. The old wizard reads his stars, and Krobus keeps his quiet shop beneath the streets. And far out across the water the island sleeps under warm and distant stars. And on a small farm at the edge of it all, a life is being built, slowly, gently, one soft day at a time. There are a few last quiet wonders worth gathering up before we let the valley blur into sleep, small threads that make the world feel even fuller. There is an art to turning the farm's harvest into something finer, a whole gentle craft of transformation. Grapes become wine, aging slowly in oak casks until they are richer and more valuable than before. Milk becomes cheese. Fruit becomes jam. Grain becomes beer, and hops become pale ale, and the ordinary vegetables of the field become pickles sealed in jars. There is a deep satisfaction in this slow alchemy, in setting something aside to age and improve on its own, and coming back seasons later to find that patience has quietly turned the plain into the precious. It is farming's oldest wisdom, that time itself is an ingredient, and the valley honours it. Everything the farm produces carries a mark of its quality, too, an invisible grade that rises as your skill and your care deepen. A crop can be ordinary, or it can be touched with silver, or gold, or at the very finest, with the shimmer of iridium, each level worth more than the last. And so there is a slow pride in watching your harvests improve over the years, in seeing the same humble potato come out of the ground finer and more valuable simply because you have learned the land better and treated it with greater care. The valley rewards mastery gently, never demanding it, only quietly acknowledging the difference that patience and attention make over a long span of seasons. There is a hidden fruit, too, spoken of in whispers, that a farmer might find only a handful of times in a whole life in the valley. It is called a stardrop, and it is unlike anything else that grows. To eat one is to feel your very capacity for the day expand, your energy deepening, so that you can work longer and tire less. There are only a few of them hidden in all the world, tucked away in secret places, earned through rare achievements or found in unexpected corners, and each one is a small permanent gift to yourself, a quiet blessing that stays with you for the rest of your days in the valley. To gather them all is the work of a devoted and patient life. The town keeps growing kinder as you tend it, too. Complete the healing of the community centre, or even, in the other path, contribute enough through Joja, and one day a long-closed building reopens its doors, and the town has a cinema again, a small movie theatre where the townsfolk gather to watch films together, and where you can take a friend or a spouse on a gentle evening out. Little by little, the town you found tired and struggling becomes a place that is alive again, full of small pleasures it had lost. Much of that revival flows quietly from your hands, though the game never once asks you to take credit for it. And there is one more small family worth remembering, tucked into a stump in the forest that arrived in one of the valley's later gifts. A family of raccoons, gentle and industrious, who set up their own little shop and their own quiet economy. asking you for offerings from the land and giving back curious wares in return, another soft thread of life woven into the ever-deepening world. The valley is full of these small living corners that reward the curious, tucked-away households and hidden shopkeepers and quiet creatures going about their business, so that no matter how long you stay, there is always one more soft surprise waiting to be found. Even the slimes, those bouncing creatures of the mines, can become part of the farm's gentle life. A patient farmer can build a special hutch and keep them, raising them in safety, watching them multiply and glisten in their strange soft way, even coaxing them into producing small treasures of their own. It is a curious kind of tenderness to take the monsters of the dark and make a home for them in the light, and it is very like the valley to allow it, to insist, in its quiet way, that almost anything can be cared for, that almost anything can be brought gently into the fold if you are willing to make it a home. And so the valley holds all of it at once, the crops and the creatures, the mines and the sea, the festivals and the quiet ordinary days, the living town and the sleeping island, and the old magic beneath the streets. It holds the whole turning year, spring to summer to fall to winter and back again. And it asks nothing of you but that you show up, and pay attention, and be a little kind, and let the days carry you along at the soft speed of growing things. It is, in the end, a place about the gentle art of tending a farm, tending a town, tending the small good life you are slowly and patiently building, one quiet season at a time. The farm itself, that patch of inherited earth, is not the same for everyone who comes to the valley. When you first arrive, you may choose the shape of the land you will tend, and each shape offers its own quiet character. There is the open standard farm, wide and generous, all room to grow. There is a riverland farm laced with water, where the fishing is close at hand and the soil is scarcer. There is a forest farm, shaded and wild, where forage things grow among the trees and hardwood waits to be gathered. There is a farm high on the hills, with its own small vein of ore breaking through the ground, and a wilder farm where monsters wander in at night, and a farm split into quarters for those who wish to work the land alongside friends. There is a farm perched right on the beach, where the sea is always close, and the sand resists the usual comforts of sprinklers, and gifts wash up on the tide. And there is the newest of them all, a soft farm of meadows that comes with a little coop already built, and 2 hens already waiting, and a strange chewy blue grass that the animals love. Each is a different life, a different way of belonging to the valley, chosen quietly at the very start. However you shape the land, the farm can grow into far more than a field. You can raise a greenhouse of glass where summer never leaves, and set little huts among your crops where the junimos will come out to harvest for you. Small kind spirits gathering the ripe things while you tend to other work. You can hang wind chimes and lay paths of stone, and plant fruit trees that fruit each season, and build sheds and barns and coops until the farm becomes a whole small world of its own, arranged just as you like it, a place that is entirely and unmistakably yours. The animals of that world hold their own soft surprises. A pig, let out to wander, will root in the ground and find truffles, the most precious thing a farm animal can gather. A rare few chickens, hatched from strange dark eggs that a certain shadow shopkeeper might sell you, come out black as the void and lay eggs of the same deep dark. And hidden in the earth, waiting in an ancient egg, there sleeps a dinosaur, which a patient farmer can hatch and raise. A small living creature from a world unimaginably old, wandering the farm among the ordinary hens as though nothing at all were unusual about it. The valley delights in these gentle impossibilities, tucking a dinosaur into a chicken coop and letting you simply accept the wonder of it. There are quieter crafts to learn too, beyond the growing and the tending. In the tailor's little workroom there is a sewing machine, and with it you can make your own clothes, dyeing them in soft pots of colour drawn from the crops and flowers of the valley, dressing your farmer however you please. There are rings to forge, combining their small magics into something greater. There is a strange and wonderful machine on the far island that can even change the very nature of the things you feed it. In shrines hidden in dark and secret places where a person can quietly alter their own fate, changing how they look, or what troubles come to the farm at night, small strange mercies for those willing to seek them out. For those who give the valley their whole devotion, over many long years, there are rare and precious rewards waiting at the end of the road. There is a statue that yields a little iridium each day, a quiet gift for a life well tended. There is a golden clock, gleaming and costly, that keeps the weeds and the debris from ever troubling your fields again. There is a sceptre, bought from the old wizard, that can carry you home in an instant from anywhere in the valley, so that no matter how far you wander, home is only ever a thought away. And there is a final, gentle recognition for those who complete everything the valley holds, every fish and crop and friendship and secret. A quiet perfection that asks for years of patient love and gives back, at the last a deep and settled peace, and a sense of a small world made whole. The valley keeps offering new small tasks, 2 gentle requests pinned to a board in the town, where the people you have come to know ask for help with this or that, a fish they need, a monster troubling them, a favour between neighbours. And out in the desert, a hooded trader sits among the sand, willing to swap one curious thing for another, dealing in the strange economy of a place at the edge of the map. And behind the desert's little oasis, if you have earned the strange attention of Mr. Chi, there is that hidden casino, glittering in the dark, where games of chance turn his special coins into fortunes or into nothing. Another of the valley's quiet indulgences for those who go looking. Even the trouble the valley falls into can be gently healed. When the town grows cluttered and neglected, a great shy creature made of the very refuse people leave behind may wander in, and if you bring it the things it asks for, it will set about clearing the litter and greening the tired corners of the town, until the whole place breathes a little easier. It is a small, strange parable, this gentle creature of trash that helps a careless town become clean again. And it is very like the valley to imagine even its messes as something that can be lovingly tended back toward beauty. Now let the details drift away. You do not need to hold on to any of them. Let the crops and the characters and the seasons soften and blur. The way a landscape softens when you are almost asleep in a moving train, the fields sliding past the window, green and gold and endless. You have wandered a long way through the valley tonight, and now it is time simply to rest there, to lie down in the soft grass of it, and let it hold you. And let the last of the day's weight sink down through the bed and away. Picture the farm now, at the very end of a long and gentle day, The sun is low and gold, sinking behind the western hills, and the light lies warm across the fields. The crops stand quiet in their rows, watered and content, their leaves stirring softly in the last of the evening breeze. The animals have wandered back toward the barn on their own, the way they do, and they are settling into the hay, warm and safe and drowsy. The dog is asleep on the porch. The lamplight glows soft in the farmhouse window, and there is nothing left to do. The work is done, the day is done. It is time to rest. And all across the valley, the same soft dark is falling. In the town, the windows glow one by one, warm squares of amber against the deepening blue. Gus is closing up the saloon, wiping down the last of the tables. Pierre is locking the door of the general store. Robin is setting down her tools at last. The river runs quiet and silver through the middle of it all, and the cobbled square is empty now. The festival's over. The day's small errands finished, the whole town easing gently towards sleep, the way you are. Down by the sea, the tide comes in and goes out, in and out, slow and endless, the way it always has. The waves fold onto the sand and slide back, and fold again and slide back. A rhythm older than the town, older than the valley, older than anything. Willie's little shop is dark at the end of the pier. The boats rock gently at their moorings, and somewhere out in the deep water, the fish move slowly through the dark, and the great old legendary ones drift in their secret places, and everything is quiet, and everything is well. In the mountains the mine has gone still. The pickaxes are silent. The lift waits in the dark. Deep down, the dwarf is resting in the ancient quiet, among the old stone and the older memories, and the ore sleeps in its veins, patient, in no hurry to be found. Beneath the town, in the sewers, Krobus has closed his little shop for the night, and the shadow person sits in the peaceful dark, content, harming no one, wanting only the gentle life he has made. And in his tower in the forest, the old wizard has set aside his books, and let the candles burn low, and the strange soft magic of the valley settles into its own quiet rest. Let your breathing slow to match the tide. In and out. In and slowly out. There is nothing to hold on to now. Let the thoughts of the day drift past like clouds over the valley, unhurried, unimportant, moving on. You do not have to follow them. You can simply let them go. The way the travelling cart rolls out of the forest and away down the road, the way the seasons turn and release one another, the way the light leaves the sky at the end of a long good day. Think of the seasons turning, slow and sure. Spring softening into summer, summer deepening into fall, fall fading into the white hush of winter, and winter in its own good time thawing back into spring, around and around, gently, endlessly, the green coming and going and coming again, the crops rising and falling and rising, the years passing over the valley like weather over a field. There is no rush in any of it. There is no end to reach. There is only the turning, soft and patient, carrying everything along, carrying you along, down and down into sleep. And the music is still playing, somewhere, very softly. The gentle piano of the valley, drifting through the dark like memory, like weather, like something half remembered from a childhood you can almost recall. It asks nothing of you. It simply plays, soft and slow, filling the quiet with warmth, holding the whole sleeping world in a kind and steady calm. Let it carry you. Let it hold you. Let it play you down into the deep and gentle dark, the way it has played so many others to sleep before you. Imagine you are lying in the tall grass at the edge of the farm, on a warm and quiet evening, looking up at the sky as the first stars come out. The earth is soft beneath you. The air is cool and sweet with the smell of green things and turned soil and distant sea. The crickets are singing in the grass. The lamplight glows behind you in the farmhouse window, and above you the stars come out one by one, more and more of them, until the whole sky is scattered with soft silver light, and you are held between the warm earth and the endless sky, safe and small and perfectly at peace. There is nowhere you need to be. There is nothing you need to do. The farm will still be here in the morning. The crops will still be growing. The animals will wake warm in their barn, and the sun will rise gold over the eastern hills, and the town will stir gently back to life, and the seasons will keep turning, whether you are awake to see them or not. You can let go of all of it now. You can set it all down. You have tended enough today. You can rest. Let the valley grow softer now, and dimmer, the way a room dims when someone turns the lamp down low. The edges are blurring. The details are letting go. You do not need to remember the names, or the seasons, or the crops, or any of it. It is all still there, safe and quiet, waiting for you whenever you want to return. But for now, you can simply drift, above it all, like the soft green light of the moonlight jellies drifting out to sea, luminous and slow and utterly at peace. Feel how heavy your body has become, sinking down into the bed, held and supported and warm. Your feet are heavy. Your legs are heavy. Your hands have gone still and soft. Your shoulders have dropped all the way down at last. Your breath is slow and easy, moving on its own, in and out, like the tide, like the seasons, like the gentle turning of a quiet world. There is nothing to do but breathe and drift and let the warmth carry you down. And if any small thought still lingers, any little worry from the day still tapping at the window, let the valley take it. Hand it to the Junimos, those small kind spirits, and let them carry it away into the forest, the way they carry everything toward healing. Let it become a bundle to be completed, a small thing tended and then released, gone quietly into the green. You do not have to hold anything tonight. The valley will hold it for you. The valley is very good at holding things gently until they are ready to be set down. Picture the snow falling over the town on a still winter night, soft and slow, the flakes drifting down through the lamplight, settling on the rooftops, on the cobbled square, on the frozen river, on the quiet fields. Everything hushed, everything white and soft and sleeping. The feast of the winter star is over. The lanterns are dark. The town is dreaming under its blanket of snow, and the snow keeps falling, soft and slow. soft and slow, covering the whole valley in a deep and gentle quiet. Picture the warm rain of spring falling on the new green fields. You do not have to water the crops on a rainy day. The sky does it for you. So you can simply stand at the window and watch the rain come down, soft on the young leaves, soft on the pond, soft on the roof above your head. The rain that means rest, the rain that means the work is lifted for a while. The gentle grey rain of the valley, falling and falling, washing the world soft and green. Picture the warm island far across the sea, where the palm trees sway and the waves come in slow and blue on the white sand. The parrots have gone quiet in the trees. The volcano sleeps. Leo is safe and dreaming. The warm wind moves through the leaves, soft and endless, and the tide breathes in and out against the shore, in and out, slow and warm and far away. You could be there now, lying in the warm sand, listening to the sea, with nowhere to go and nothing to do, and all the time in the world. Everything in the valley is resting now. The crops rest in the dark soil. The animals rest in the warm barn. The fish rest in the deep water. The town rests behind its glowing windows. The mines rest in the ancient dark. The wizard rests in his tower, and Krobus in his quiet corner, and the mermaid in her secret sea. The Junimos rest in the forest. The whole green valley rests. The whole turning world rests. And now, at last, so can you. Let go a little more. Let the last of it soften. The names are drifting away now. The seasons are blurring into one long gentle green. The music is very faint, very far, playing you down. Your breath is slow. Your body is heavy and warm. The bed is holding you. The dark is kind. There is nothing left to reach for, nothing left to finish, nothing left to be. Only rest. Only the soft dark. Only the quiet valley turning slowly, somewhere far away, cradling you as you fall. If you are still here with me, still awake in the soft dark, that is all right. There is no wrong way to do this. You do not have to try to sleep. Trying is the opposite of resting. So, let go even of that. Let go of the wanting. Just lie here in the quiet valley of the mind and let the images drift by, one after another, slow and warm, like farms sliding past a train window, and let them carry whatever weight is left in you gently out to sea. Let us wander the valley one last time, very slowly, and let each place be a soft place to lay your attention down for a moment before moving on. Here is the farm, quiet in the evening light. Rest there a moment. Here is the little path down to the town, lined with grass and wildflowers. Rest there a moment. Here is the cobbled square, empty and peaceful under the first stars. Rest there. Here is the river, running soft and silver through the middle of everything. Rest there, by the water, and let it carry your thoughts away downstream. Here is the beach, and the slow blue waves folding onto the sand. Rest there. Here is the pier, and the dark quiet sea beyond it. Rest there. Here is the forest, deep and green and full of gentle shadows, where the junimos sleep and the wildflowers close their petals for the night. Rest there, among the soft trees. Here is the mountain lake, still as glass, holding the reflection of the moon. Rest there, at the edge of the still water, where Linus keeps his quiet, peaceful camp and asks the world for nothing. Breathe in slowly, and breathe out slower still. Feel yourself growing lighter, softer, farther away. The valley is a lullaby now, not a place but a feeling, a warm green calm that holds you as you sink. In and out, slow and slower. There is all the time in the world. The seasons will keep turning without you tonight. You have earned this rest. You have tended enough. You can let the whole world go on turning softly in the dark while you sleep. Think of one gentle thing and let it be enough. The soft glow of a lamp in a farmhouse window. Hold that. Just that. The warm small light in the dark, steady and kind. The light that means home. The light that means the day is done and you are safe inside and there is nothing more to do but rest. Let that warm little light be the last thing you hold as you drift, glowing softly in the deep blue evening of the valley, steady and warm and yours. The crops are growing in the dark. You do not have to watch them. They grow on their own, slowly, quietly, all through the night, so that in the morning there will be a little more green than there was before. That is how it works in the valley. You rest, and the world keeps growing. You sleep, and the seasons keep turning. You let go, and everything is still there, safe and whole, waiting gently for the morning. Nothing is lost by resting. Everything grows in the dark. The animals are sleeping in the warm barn. The fish are drifting in the deep. The town is dreaming behind its glowing windows. The snow is falling, or the rain, soft on the quiet roofs. The music is playing faint and far, playing you down. And you are here, warm and heavy and safe, sinking slowly into the soft dark, cradled by a small green valley that has cradled so many tired people before you, and asked nothing of any of them but that they rest a while, and be a little kind, and let themselves be held. Softer now, slower now. Let the words come further apart. Let the spaces between them grow. There is no need to follow anymore. Just drift. Just breathe. Just sink gently into the warm dark. The valley is here. The valley is quiet. The valley is holding you, and you can let go all the way now down into sleep. And if some small awake part of you is still listening, here is a gentle thing to rest on, a true thing about the valley, told softly. In all the years a person might spend there, in all the seasons and the harvests and the long quiet days, there is no way to truly fail. The valley does not keep a losing score. It does not run out of time. If a crop withers, another season comes. If a day goes wrong, you simply sleep and wake and begin again. There is no final judgment waiting to catch you out, only a grandfather's gentle pride, only the slow patient growing of a life. It is one of the kindest things a made world can be, a place where you cannot really lose, only rest and try again and keep on gently growing. Rest on that. A world where beginning again is always allowed, where every winter is followed by a spring, where the first day of the new year always comes, and the parsnips always sprout, and the town always wakes, and the whole gentle cycle always turns back toward green and growing things. Spring always comes to the valley. It cannot help but come. However long and white the winter, however quiet and still the fields, spring is always waiting on the other side of it, and the crops are always waiting to rise, and there is always, always more life to be lived. Let that be a soft comfort as you drift. Spring is always coming. You have only to rest and wait, and it will come. Let the seasons carry you now, gently, one into the next. Feel the warm green of spring, and the long gold of summer, and the amber hush of fall, and the soft white quiet of winter, and around again to spring. Around and around, slow and endless, warm and cool and warm again, the valley breathing through its long slow year, in and out, green and white and green again, carrying you along on the soft current of it, down and down towards sleep. You are so heavy now, so warm, so far away. The bed is holding all of you. The dark is soft and kind. Your breath moves slow and easy, all on its own. And the valley turns quietly somewhere in the deep of you, a small green world that will keep on turning all through the night, tending itself, holding its people, waiting patiently for a morning that is still a long, long way off. You do not have to reach that morning. You only have to rest here. Now, in the warm dark held, the lamp glows soft in the farmhouse window. The snow falls slow on the sleeping town. The tide breathes in and out against the shore. The music plays, faint and far and warm, and everything in the valley is at peace, and everything in the valley is resting, and you are part of it now, resting with it, sinking into the same soft quiet that holds the whole green world. Let the light dim all the way down. Let the words fade to almost nothing. Let the valley become just a warm green feeling. And then not even that, just warmth, just softness, just the deep and gentle dark. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. There is nothing left to do. There is nowhere left to go. There is only rest, and the soft dark, and the quiet turning of a small kind world, far away, cradling you as you fall asleep. We are near the end of our long slow wander now, and there is nothing left to learn, nothing left to gather, nothing left to do but drift the rest of the way down. So let me simply stay here beside you a little longer, in the warm dark, and let the valley settle around us both, soft and quiet, like a blanket of snow over a sleeping field. Imagine the whole valley from far above, the way a bird might see it, or the way you might see it in a dream. The little farm at the edge, its fields laid out in gentle squares, its lamplit window glowing warm. The town gathered by the river, its rooftops soft in the moonlight. The forest dark and green to the west, and the mountains rising to the north, and the sea stretching wide and silver to the south, and far beyond it, the warm island sleeping under distant stars. All of it quiet, all of it resting. all of it turning slowly through the night, holding its many small lives safe in the dark. And every one of those lives is at peace tonight. Abigail is dreaming of adventures in a wilder world. Sebastian is asleep in his quiet basement, the rain soft on the window he loves. Sam's guitar is silent in the corner, and Sam is dreaming easy. Leah is asleep in her cottage in the woods, the sculptures half finished and patient around her. Elliot is asleep by the sound of the sea, his novel resting, its ending still ahead of him. Harvey has closed the clinic and turned off the light. Penny and her mother are quiet in their little home. Shane is sleeping, and the morning will be a little easier than the one before. Everyone you came to know is safe, and warm, and dreaming, all through the gentle valley, all through the soft, dark night. The elders are resting too. George and Evelyn asleep in their small house, side by side, as they have been for so many years. Kent home at last, safe under his own roof, the war a little further behind him with every peaceful night. Marnie and Lewis, each in their quiet place, holding their small secret love. Linus in his tent by the lake, at peace under the open sky, wanting nothing, needing nothing, free, Willie asleep to the sound of the tide. Gus and Pierre and Robin and Clint and all of them, the whole warm cast of the little town, resting now, dreaming now, safe in the dark that holds us all. And the deeper places are quiet too. The dwarf resting in the ancient dark of the mines. Krobus at peace in his gentle corner beneath the streets. The old wizard asleep in his tower, his candles burned down low. The mermaid drifting somewhere in the winter sea. The Junimos curled soft in the sleeping forest. Even the slimes are still. Even the monsters of the deep are quiet. The whole valley, from its highest mountain to its lowest cavern, from its greenest field to its darkest sea, is resting, all together, all at once, in one deep and gentle peace. Breathe in, slow and soft, and breathe out, slower still. You are drifting now further and further, down and down. The valley is fading to a warm green glow, and then to a soft warm nothing, and you are sinking below it, into the deep still water of sleep. There is nothing to hold, there is nothing to keep. Just let go, gently, all the way, and let the dark take you softly down. The lamp is glowing, the snow is falling, the tide is breathing, the music is playing, so soft now, so far, and the valley turns, slow and endless, holding you as you fall. Rest now. You have wandered far enough. Let your breath go slow, let your body go heavy. Let the valley hold you. The crops are growing in the dark. The town is dreaming. The sea is breathing, slow and soft. Spring is always coming. You are safe. You are held. You can let go now. Sleep well, wherever you are in the world tonight. Sleep deep, and sleep soft, and let the quiet valley keep turning gently in the dark while you rest. It will still be here when you wake. It always will. Good night. Good night. Sleep well and rest. And dream of green and growing things. Good night.